A Canada Anti-Violence Guide. Chapter 1. A Canada Anti-Violence Guide. Canada Violence Against Women Websites. SafetyLit.org, Caring for Victims of Intimate Partner Violence, a survey of Canadian emergency departments, McClellan S., Worcester A., Macmillan HCJEM, 10, 4325-8. 2008. CWRP.ca. Canadian Child Welfare Research Portal. CanadianWomen.org. Canadian Women's Foundation. FAFIA-AFAI.org/EN. Feminist Alliance for International Action. TheHealingJourney.ca/main.asp, The Healing Journey. sieccan.org/wp-content/uploads/2015/sexual-health-issue-sexual-assault.pdf, Sexual assault in Canada, legal definitions, statistics, and frontline responses.academia.edu/11268204/cruel_health_issues, cruel, inhuman, and degrading. Canada's treatment of federally sentenced women with mental health issues. NOTAP.org/2010/1SD Women CONF/1SD Women CONF_04.hdm, Violence linked to substance use and mental health in BC women with HIV. CPA.ca/about CPA/policy statements. Policy Statement on Violence Against Women, Canadian Psychological Association Public Policy Committee, June 2010. Canadian Domestic Violence Conference.ca/workshops.html, Canadian Domestic Violence Conference. mcf.gov.bc.ca/child_protection/pdf/handbook_action_child_abuse.pdf, The BC Handbook for Action on Child Abuse and Neglect for Service Providers, British Columbia Ministry for Children and Families. Victoria, BC Ministry for Children and Families, 2007. Justice.gc.ca/eng/rp-pr/jr/14/p5.html, Investigating the Victim Impact Statement in Cases of Sexual Assault in Nova Scotia. Notes on Method and some Preliminary Observations. parl.gc.ca/housepublications/publication.aspx?doc id =2738918 language =e=mode =1 parl =39 ses =1, turning outrage into action to address trafficking for the purpose of sexual exploitation in Canada. ins.pq.qc.ca/pdf/668_esi_sexual_violence.pdf, Prevalence and Nature of Sexual Violence in Nunavik. amnesty.ca/sites/amnesty/files/amr2000320004 nstolensisters.pdf, Stolen Sisters. A human rights response to discrimination and violence against Indigenous women in Canada. safetylit.org/citations/index.php, Fuse action equals citations.view details and citation ids %5b%5d equals cit journal article _525336_24, Coaching, Touching and False Allegations of Sexual Abuse in Canada. NAM.org/doi/pdf/10.1056/NAMSA141131, Efficacy of a Sexual Assault Resistance Program for University Women. Canadian Sexual Abuse Assault Resources. Canadian Association of Sexual Assault Centres. Vancouver, British Columbia. 604-876-2622. 604-876-8450. CASAC.ca. Head office at CASAC.ca. Victoria Women's Sexual Assault Centre. Victoria, British Columbia. 250-383-5 5545. 250-383-6112. 250-383-3232, hotline. vwsac.com. vwsac@vwsac.com. Sexual Assault/Domestic Violence Care Centre. Hamilton, Ontario. 905-525-4573. 905-525-4162, hotline. SADV Care Centre at hhsc.ca. The Sexual Assault/Rape Crisis Centre of Peel. Mississauga, Ontario. 905-273-9442, 24/7 Crisis Line. 1-800-810-0180, only for Caledon residents. sarccp.org. admin@sarccp.org. Regional Sexual and Domestic Assault Program, Simcoe. County/Muskoka. Orillia Soldiers Memorial Hospital. Orillia, Ontario. 705-325-2201, extension 3284. 705-327-9155, hotline. 1-877-377-7438, toll-free from 705 area code only. oneyes@bayronT.on.ca. Ottawa Rape Crisis Centre. Ottawa, Ontario. 613-562-2334. 613-562-2333, hotline. Toronto Rape Crisis Centre. Toronto, Ontario. 416-597-1171, hotline. trccmwar.ca. info@trccmwar.ca. Montreal Rape Crisis Centre. Montreal, Quebec. 514-934-0354. 514-934-4504, hotline. Assaulted Women's Helpline. Toronto. 416-863-0511. 416-516-9738, TDD. Canadian Coalition of Rape Crisis Centres. 705-268-8382. Family Service Centre of Ottawa. 119 Ross Avenue. Ottawa, on K1YON6. 613-725-3601. Fax, 613-725-5651. fscoc@intranet.on.ca. Hope and Help Recovery Resource Centre. 17 Hayden St. Toronto, on M4Y2P2. 416-922-2900. Fax, 416-966-2748. Kids Helpline. 800-668-6868. Pathways Magazine. 238 Lakeshore Road East. Oakville, on L6J1H8. 905-338-1055. Fax, 905-338-8901. Magazine of General Healing from Trauma. Sexual Assault Center. Belleville, on 800-909-7007. 613-967-6000. Fax, 613-967-6527. Sexual Assault Center. 11 Nelson St. Brantford, on N3T2M6. 519-751-3471. Fax, 519-751-4187. Sexual Assault Center. Hamilton, on 905-525-4162. 905-525-4753. Fax, 905-525-7085. Sexual Assault Center. Kitchener, on 519-741-8633. 519-571-0121. Fax, 519-571-0522. Sexual Assault Center. Mississauga, on. 905-273-3337. Sexual Assault Center. Ottawa, on. 613-234-2266. Fax, 613-725-9259. Sexual Assault Center. Sudbury, on. 705-675-1323. Fax, 705-675-2641. Sexual Assault Center. 385 Mooney St. Thunder Bay, on. 807-344-4502. Fax, 807-344-1981. Sexual Assault Recovery Anonymous. Sarah Society. epub 16. Surrey, BCV 35424. 604-584-2626. Victim Services. Nova Scotia. 800-470-0773. 902-424-3307. Vis-a-vis. Family Violence Program. Canadian Council on Social Development. 55 Parkdale Avenue. epub 3505, STA. C. Ottawa, on Key 4G1. 613-728-1865. Fax, 613-728-9387. Newsletter dedicated to family violence prevention. Canadian sexual assault rape websites. Half of Canadian women report having experienced at least one incident of physical or sexual violence since the age of 16. Canada.ca/en/public-health/services/health-promotion/stop-family-violence.html. antiviolenceproject.org/info/sexual-assault-laws-in-Canada. assaultcare.ca. avaloncentre.ca, Halifax. AL.org. Assaulted Women's Helpline 24-hour telephone crisis line for women in the province of Ontario. CanadianCriminalLaw.com. canadian-criminallaw.net/volunteer/pay-rape-sexual-assault-center-inc.html. canadianwomen.org/sexual-assault. CASAC.ca. Canadian Association of Sexual Assault Centres, group of sexual assault centres who have come together to implement the changes necessary to prevent and ultimately eradicate rape and sexual assault. CASAT.on.ca, 416-216-0278, Sexual Abuse Treatment. city.toronto.on.ca/council/WAC_index.htm, The Woman Abuse Council of Toronto. cwen.ca/en/FAQ Sexual Assault. DEC6FUND.ca, Violence Against Women. equalitycanada.com/tag/sexual-assault. femifesto.ca. feministing.com. frontline-canada.com. gov.ns.ca/Stockholm 800-565-8662, free booklet Making Changes, a book for women in abusive relationships. JelenaClaw.com, sexual assault lawyer. metroc.org. Metro Action Committee on Public Violence Against Women and Children, METRAC. OneFamilyLaw.ca, family law education for women. OUJN.org. Ontario Women's Justice Network. The Legal Issues. ParkdaleLegal.org. The Parkdale Community Legal Services, free community legal clinic providing free legal advice to low-income residents living in the Parkdale and Swansea area. rain.org/get-help/sexual-assault-and-rape-international-resources. rapereliefshelter.bc.ca, Vancouver Rape Relief and Women's Shelter. schliferclinic.com Barbara Sculifetter Commemorative Clinic, free legal, counseling, services to women who are survivors of partner assault, sexual assault, and incest/childhood sexual abuse. selfdefensecanada.info, sexassault.ca, sexualassaultniagara.org, sexualassaultsupport.ca, springtideresources.org. Springtide Resources, information for abused women. sec.utoronto.ca/sexual-assault-resources, sex assault resources around Toronto. Assaulted Women's Helpline. 416-863-0511. Toll free, 1-866-863-0511. 416-323-6040 if assaulted in the last 72 hours. AOL.org. Barbara Sculifetter Commemorative Clinic. 416-323-9149. 489 College Street Suite 503 Toronto on, M6G1A5. Free counseling, legal aid, interpretation, information, and referral services for women who are survivors of violence. More information at schliferclinic.com. Sexual Assault and Domestic Violence Care Center at the Women's College Hospital. 416-323-6040. 76 Grenville Street Main Floor, Toronto on, M5S1B2. Women's College Hospital.ca/programs-services/sexual-assault-domestic-violence-care-center. Toronto Rape Crisis Center. Maine, 416-597-1171. Counseling line, 416-597-8808. Offers legal support, referrals, 24-hour crisis line, support groups, and in-person counseling for victims of sexual assault. More information at trccmwar.ca. U of T Sexual Harassment Office. 416-978-3908. 215 Huron Street 6th floor, Suite 603, Toronto on, M5T1R2. UOFT Community Safety Office. 416-978-1485. 21 Sussex Avenue 2nd floor, M5S1J6. communitiesofady.utoronto.ca/about-us.hdm. Walk safer at U of T. 905-607 Safe, 7233. Walk Safer is a service for UTM community members, including students, employees, and visitors, who prefer not to walk alone on campus at night. More information at utm.utoronto.ca/campus-police/safety-programs/work-alone-walksa-fe-programs. Woman Abuse Canada and resources mostly around Toronto. Woman Abuse Canada. 1652 Keele Street, Suite 129. Toronto, Ontario M6M3W3. 416-944-9242. F. 416-944-9753. Woman Act at womanabuse.ca. WACT at womanabuse.ca. Womanabuse.ca, the Woman Abuse Council of Toronto, Woman ACT. Woman Act Send Violence Against Women.week.com, and Violence Against Women Week in Toronto. Twitter.com/WomanAct. At WomanACT. Facebook.com/WomanAbuse. LinkedIn.com/company/woman-abuse-council-of-Toronto-Woman-Act. TheRedwood.com, 416-533-8538, Toronto, Canada Shelter. Abrigo.ca, Abrigo Centre. actoronto.ca. ACT, AIDS Committee of Toronto. schliferclinic.com. Barbara Sculifetter Clinic. ccas.toronto.on.ca. Catholic Children's Aid Society. cfstoronto.com. Catholic Family Services of Toronto. childdevelop.ca, Child Development Institute. torontoca.ca/site-up/wordpress/?cat=4, Children's Aid Society of Toronto. efrytoronto.org. Elizabeth Fry Toronto. scw.ca, Elspeth Hayworth Centre for Women. ernestines.ca. Ernestines Women's Shelter. fsatoronto.com. Family Service Toronto. intervalhouse.ca, Interval House. legalaid.on.ca. Legal Aid Ontario. metrac.org. metrac. nellies.org. Nellies. nywc.org, North York Women's Centre. nyws.ca, North York Women's Shelter. oasisfom.org. Oasis Centre des Femmes. Scarborough Women's Centre.ca, Scarborough Women's Centre. springtideresources.org. Springtide Resources. theredwood.com, The Redwood. toronto.ca/health. Toronto Public Health. westnh.org, West Neighbourhood House. Women's Habitat.ca, Women's Habitat of Etobicoke. aredorshelter.ca, Wood Green Red Door Family Shelter. workingwomencc.org. Working Women's Centre. yorktownfamilyservices.com/shelter/home.cfm, Yorktown Shelter. ywcatoronto.org. YWCA Toronto.